Hey everyone, welcome to Open. Happy Women's History Month. I'm Rhina Valentin, your hosting Café con Leche for the next hour, inviting you to get social with us online. That is, tweet us and follow us on Instagram at BronxNet TV and like us on Facebook at Open BronxNet Television. And of course, while you're there, don't forget, follow moi on Twitter, FB, Instagram, Insta Stories, and LinkedIn at Rhina Valentin. Our first guest is the executive director, creator, and founder of Black Women Radicals, a Black feminist advocacy organization dedicated to uplifting and celebrating and centering Black women and gender-expansive people's radical activism in Africa and in the African diaspora. She is also the creator and founder of the School for Black Feminist Politics, the Black feminist political education arm of Black Women Radicals. The mission of SBFP is to empower Black feminism in Black politics by expanding the field from transnational, intersectional, and multidisciplinary perspectives. Here now to share more is the executive director, creator, and founder of Black Women Radicals, Jaimee A. Swift. Hello and welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, well, happy Women's History Month to you.
Yes, you too.
Yes, and we acknowledge you and we thank you for making sure that our voices are on record and our own history is being captured by our own people and passed on to the next generation as precise as possible, right? And so let's just start with, I want to know for you, right? I mean, you're a professor as well, and what inspired you to even create this collective?
Yeah, thank you so much for asking that question. So I started Black Women Radicals as an idea during my graduate program, and I study a very niche subfield of political science, Black politics. And I just found that within the, academic discourse and the syllabi and things of that nature, Black women and gender expansive people were not being represented. And that's a problem, right? Because if you have these revisionist histories or Black women and gender expansive people are not included, like you said before, these histories get passed down and passed on, right? And so that's why I started Black Women Radicals, and surprisingly, it has grown more than what I could ever imagine. So just thanking everyone for the support.
Well, I think what your mission is, it's very important and very needed, and it's definitely something that needs to be modeled, I want to say, by every culture, right? Because the idea is that we're telling our own stories. And so you have like these subdivisions, or I don't know what you were referring to them, like offspring sectors that are part of it. Do you care to share them all with us? I mean, we can't elaborate on each, area, but I think it's lovely to see what it's grown into.
Yes, so we have various pillars within our mission, vision, values. So one, community conversations, just monthly events that we have, and we have several. We have our blog, Voices in Movement, where we literally interview like Black feminists from around the world, and just super excited about honoring Miss Denise Oliver Velez, leader of the Young Lords Party.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, she's so amazing. Miss Erica Huggins, leader of the Black Panther Party, and among many others. And then we have our, School for Black Feminist Politics teach-ins. And then we also have a partnership with the Asian American Feminist Collective and the Asian American Writers Workshop. And it's called the Black and Asian Feminist Solidarities Project. So we're just busy.
To say the least.
Yes,
so,
yes.
It's lovely. It's lovely. And it's so inspirational. And I want our viewers and anyone who is interested in, being a part of this and or contributing to it. So explain to us how it actually works, right? Because I know you have your website, you have the monthly conversations, you have the voices. So do people contribute? Like, do you have open calls? Like, what does that look like?
So really, Black Women Radicals runs on the power and trust of Black feminists from around the world. And so what does that mean? For example, for our school and also for our events, and also for the Voices and Blog movement, and also for our database, which houses 100 plus profiles of historical Black women leaders, we literally invite people to lead these efforts, right? So last week, we launched our 2022, School for Black Feminist Politics series with Bria Johnson, who led the first teach-in on the transformative teachings of June Jordan. And we pay people, right? And that's so important because oftentimes Black women and gender expansive people's labor is not compensated, and we do it for our community, but we pay, we invite, and we center and trust Black feminists in their expertise. And so we run on the power of Black feminist possibilities, and that's what we do.
I know you run on integrity, which is an important factor in getting things like this accomplished. Really, I mean, just in everything you just shared, right? Because there's all those other aspects to it that also play a role in language that you're even using, and you know, the intersectionality. You and I were having a conversation about that prior to getting on air, and what that looks like in today's society, and how it's a term that's being used quite frequently now. And so this, what you just shared, kind of also loans itself to that as well, right? In identifying it as either one or the other. And so I'm just curious to know, like, do you have like a main team that oversees the invitees? You know, like what does that look like?
So surprisingly, for a long time, it was just me, and no one knew it was me. I built Black Women Radicals for a year and some change silently, because it can't be a microwave rush project when you're working with Black feminists, right? This is a love project for me. And so super excited, right, to now finally build a team. So we have an amazing visual designer. Her name is Doriana Diaz, right? We have a wonderful Black feminist migrations and movement writer, Nana Brontuo. Carla Mendez is also a writer for the blog Voices and Movement. We're actually bringing on an amazing young person. Actually, they're a student of mine who's going to be working to update the bios in our database, Jaden, right? So just excited to have a team, right? Because oftentimes Black women lead these efforts and don't have help, or they're not compensated, or they're using their own money, right? And so I did all those things, and I don't want to be burned out. And so I'm happy that we are able to receive a grant, the Meyer grant, of the Fund for Black-Led Change Meyer grant, to continue to do this work.
It's wonderful. And before we go, what do you want people to leave with when they visit this website that almost serves as a hub to like this very important and crucial information?
I want people to know that Black women and gender expansive people have always been at the vanguard of community organizing, radical movement building, whether in the US or in the African diaspora on the African continent. And it's not just the people that we look to, like I love Dr. Angela Y. Davis, but they're also our mothers, our other mothers, our aunties, biological and chosen kin. There's Black feminists in Latin America, in the Caribbean, on the continent, in Europe, right, all over the world. And so I want people to know the entirety and the totality and the fullness of our work, because it's been overshadowed, erased. And just simply, we have been here and always have been, and we will always be here. You can't get rid of us.
I love it. Thank you. And thank you for bringing it here to our viewers. And thank you for being at the forefront of being the historian that you are, and making sure you're passing it on to the next generation. Thank you, Jaimee A. Swift. And for more, you guys, for more on Black Women Radicals, you can visit blackwomenradicals.com, and on Instagram at Black Women Radicals. We have to take a quick break, but when we return, we'll hear about a local pastry chef bringing her Harlem flair to the new season of Spring Baking Championship on the Food Network. Don't go anywhere.